No man can reveal to you aught but that which already lies half asleep in the drawings of your knowledge. The teacher who walks in the shadows of the temple among his followers give not of his wisdom, but rather of his faith and his lovingness. If he is indeed wise, he does not bid you enter the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your own mind. Once again, the prophet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Inspired Word Cafe. I turn to you, sir, because there's always a woohoo. I don't know if I started that, but it's kind of fitting. Anyway, guys, welcome to the Inspired Word Cafe, the second last taping of season 6, I guess. You're in for a treat. Our feature tonight is, I believe, just a brilliant wordsmith. He came in second in the first Kelowna Poetry Slam. He's been a regular of IWC for a few months now. I just love the way he puts words together and he tells stories. And whether you're a poet or a fiction writer, to me, it's just about the ability to tell a story. So I just love, and I think you're in for a treat tonight. So young Mr. Colmarsh is here tonight with us. But before we get to him, because I want him to have as much time as possible to share, how are you guys doing? How are you? Are you? And those at home, I hope you're enjoying. I know it's really difficult to be inside when we have such weather. And, you know, we went right from, winter? Did we have spring? Seemed like we went right to summer. So I'm kind of enjoying it like this right now because when it starts going above 30, you won't see me. So anyway, are you ready? Are you ready for some serious words? You're ready for a brilliant, brilliant mind. I think Stuart McLean needs to start moving over soon because I could see him taking over the Van Hill Cafe and doing something really cool with it. Not that Stu doesn't, but I just think you're brilliant. Anyway, guys, no pressure. His words are amazing. He gives hope to other people when they want to enter slam competitions that you don't need to be like a rapper kind of rhyming type of words. To be able to tell stories, to be able to link thoughts together and present it in a way that paints this picture and takes you on a journey is an amazing. So I'll let him come up and do it himself. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Colmarsh.
I'm going to read a couple new poems tonight. They're very new. They don't quite know what they want to be yet, but I thought it would be cool to read them here tonight. The first one I'm going to read, though, is one that I read at the Slam. And I had to cut a lot of it to get it under the 3 minutes for the Slam, so I kind of wanted to read it in its sort of full existence. And plus, my mom says this poem is really good, so... Anyway, it's called The Only Thing That Scares Me About Change is the Possibility That Things Might Stay the Same. I stand before an angry mob and take a deep Mary Shelley breath and say, maybe by the time Square remakes Final Fantasy VII again, we'll shut down the chocolate farms and the coal-fired funeral parlors for good, and be careful to conserve enough kale seeds in the vault to feed everyone that internalize the lies about luck they heard in Timmy's. An eternity of lunches for double-double drinkers and afternoon everything bagel eaters and former Albertans being loud about the NDP as though they affect the global price of oil at all. We need to learn to go extinct with a little grace. Do you remember when we all had those eco-friendly carpool accident daydreams on the same Saturday? Our skulls went through the shatter glass and we flew. We'd left our wings in the change room but flapped our arms until we flew that slow, cartoon, zero-gravity sort of flying. The vertigo that haunts us all made good luck scarce for me in shooting games and kickball. That's why I played Final Fantasy. Nice and slow. We watched them buy Dan Brown books at airports and weep for the fire-born orangutan refugees while still washing the Brill cream out of their hair with palm oil, but they are not the us. Not the us we have seen. Not the us we know we can be. Secretly, we knew not recycling was second-degree murder, and someday, hopefully, they will too. They just haven't seen it with their own two Wayfarer lenses. They can't hear to think because when summer sits in the landfill sun long enough to turn to autumn, they always belt it out in the shower to stay warm. We got a bird that whistles, we got a bird that sings. But where did the human race sleep last night? We have wondered, and where has it been so long? But the important question becomes, what monsters did we spend our lives creating, and is there still time to both hunt them down and start over? If we take to the wing and go to the northern cave and face our own conditioned ethical blindness, Midgar can grow grass once more, maybe, but Cloud won't save us this time. He opened his own sort of motorcycle FedEx, and he's been brooding through some pretty heavy main character outskirts of town self-loathing type shit. But I'm just one person, they all say in a crowd. Hearing lots of stories about the empty time they have ahead, the mob now looks at the clock, worried about the world's supply of torchlight, proving they can band together for utilitarian reasons, but maybe it will stop us only being nice to each other out of some fear of some dystopian future where we'll finally get to tear each other apart. What can I do? Comes from the crowd, just in time for the Grinch to learn something about recycling. All the things. Ride a bike to the liquor store next time when we feel particularly unmotivated to separate paper, pizza boxes from plastic juice cartons, put our hands in our dad's carbon footprint, see how much of a predator he really was, learn a little empathy, fall to our knees on the black sand at the man-made lake where the gopher habitat used to be and cry, "You bastards, you did it!" in jest, but at the same time still kind of making ourselves sad, "You blew it up!" But they did it for us. They did it because it looks good in 3D and they needed a parking lot for EB Games. I get it. I beat Final Fantasy VII 4 times, convinced I was learning the right way to live, only to scratch the game so badly each time I had to burn a new one. I threw a few TVs out of the back of my truck up a dirt road on Black Mountain, and I used to buy a month's worth of hamburger and bag it and freeze it, but I also used to love milk and eat my own boogers and think onions were gross, but now I put them, the onions, on everything and would rather eat boogers than drink milk. So I ask, which is it? A memory? Or us? Don't answer yet. Maybe we can just snooze our alarms long enough so we don't have to deal with it straight. All of this is future us's problem, survival of the fitness boys, or maybe we'll be dead by then, so it won't matter. Maybe, if luck does exist, our descendants and neighbors' grandkids will become small, like the wrens. They will leave the pine wood, rip up the linoleum with their teeth, and jump back to the dirt floor, re-evolve to live off the land again, reseed, jog the muscle memory, the hereditary skills of creation that, at a cellular level, our fingernails never forgot. Or maybe, if they happen to find themselves with both luck and wings, they'll simply fly away. Thank you. All right, so this poem's called 7 Things I No Longer Use, and 1 Thing I Wish I Could Ask Walt Whitman. 1, I love you, said the child on the bus, and his father replied, oh good, I'll put that out in the garage with all the other crap I don't use. 2, It's a Wonderful Life on VHS, lanyards, road hockey sticks, anything that makes real money, like the oxidized part of my heart, that Discman from the Wish Book, and the part of my masculinity that poisoned teenage me into WNBA jokes, but not the part that makes me open doors. 3, how lucky you were to realize at such a young age that you existed. I found you in the library, and it turned out you were in the same universe as the institution and I. Then, after that, things got a little complicated. In the years of fresh space for agency, you pulled it together in time to find success in a book, those books. Then you got afraid you'd be found out, and suddenly they'd see all your broken satellites in the rear view. It's okay. Me too. That's why I keep a hard hat in my closet, just in case. 4, consistent sobriety. 5, my sister and I came to this planet on a rising thermal and forgot to pack names. We ate onions instead of apples, ate them like apples, counted with pine needles, and signed with an X whenever we reserved a room. The breath of my ancestors escaped the mason jars as we slept, pooled in my cerebellum, and froze in the wake of broken climate change summit hotel baseboard heaters tottering on the teetery side of the train bridge. My sister wouldn't let. She had always followed my parents' footprints. She kissed my feverish forehead and followed the claw marks of their old snow scars and climbed to the sick lungs of the northern lights. From the green, she bored a drain and took the frost from beneath my skull. From the purple, she took a garden of red onions and went there only to weep. And finally, from the red, she took words and sound and fashioned them into a name, but I never seemed to use that anymore either. 6. I never felt more like a man than when I was a child without a father. 7, you must remember, he thought, the unblinking killer you were at 14. The teenagers from Mars who licked the blood off your fingers and laughed all night at instant replay on MSN with your friends. Runaway boredom. That's all hate usually is. So he vibrates his molecules to exist on a higher plane so we could shake off the spinal guilt from pissing on car crash memorials and throwing Timbits at the terminally impoverished. And when the circle was complete, he looked back over each fence post he had planted in the crimson earth, and he thought for the first time that maybe a lifetime was long enough. 8. The artifacts from our lives that prove we were here and get donated and lost in couches, and we forget what the original point of reference for our sense of self was. So Walt, our long-line grandfather, pray tell, you old beautiful beard, you old building and loan pal, what do I do when the multitudes of myself don't warrant enough celebration to keep around, but I can't seem to lose them either? So this poem's kind of like long and meandery, but thanks dude, super new, so hopefully you're stoked on it, or maybe you hate it, and that's cool too. It's called, How Much Could You Ever Really Have Known About It? This was today, but it has been distorted by virtue of remembering it. Lilacs, though, you saw them too. It's that Dr. Manhattan syndrome, sort of like every minute is happening at once. A quail makes a break across Valley Road today at the same time as I learned to fold sheets at 5. And then I'm folding a tarp after breaking a heart camping at 17. At the same time as I cough up my robot lung in whatever year they give me a hole in the orbiting cemetery. Every moment is discrete, identical, and always already on its way or gone, but never here. We were winding the sticks on Skiba's cloudy Sunday, snake oil sundial, a string on your thumb to remember, cycles and fevers, your own June and December, saying in an old-timey announcer voice, now celebrating 26 and a half years of circadian rhythm. This is how I am right now. This poem describes it perfectly, except it doesn't, since I finished writing it. It doesn't begin to describe how far the hand goes down into the flower, or how hard it is to turn a lot of pages at once, on the bottom of the bowl, or where I stole this t-shirt from. It is a representation, and a bad one, and a too late one. It missed the moment. Who cares, you say to a kid at the comic book store? My job is stupid, and I'm too lazy to articulate it any other way than that. Stupid is a great descriptive word when there is voice behind it. The extra semantic qualities of your throat, the cough drops clear up, bring it all together. It's all made up anyway. The clock, the time to work, the job, the words that describe it. They're only human-y things, to use the scientific term. And what is a human anyway, the child says, except a discursively produced subject position which mostly serves to give meaning to the meaningless, all for and then, and that allows everything outside of that very narrow human definition to be destroyed legally and without guilt? Kids today. But let me tell you some most likely unintentional fake stuff about when last the lilacs in the dooryard bloomed, and about how I don't think I was very good at coping as a kid. I remember crying about things I shouldn't have and lying about things I thought were imperative, though I didn't know what that meant. Anyway, this anecdote definitely never happened to me, but maybe it was told to me, or mathematically, either 1,000 years ago or in the future or a parallel now or then. It probably was or will be told, that is. Anyway, here it is. There was a star who spoke in binary that came across a red barn. The owner said the star could stay in the barn, but only if they told him a story. The star didn't know any good stories because they knew only 2 options, and good stories need nuance, not formula. But needing a place to sleep, the star put 1 0 in front of 1 1, and the old man smiled. You see, the man who owned the barn was satisfied just being with someone, just being talked to, just hearing sounds. He didn't care the story was only in binary. He had a barn and cold-pressed juice, and he didn't need meaning. But it wasn't until it was asked of them that the star realized they only knew about light and dark and not about the fray where they meet. I was first mumbling this story about the star when I realized it was my turn at the walk-in clinic. Seeing the sign on the wall that said 1 thing per visit, I decided the most imperative thing wrong was my trailing off. I told the doctor I was having trouble finishing sentences. Ever since I realized that my memory is always filtered through time and trauma and juice boxes and language and Game Boy thumbs, he looked up. Sorry, were you saying something? No, I said. But you're losing touch, Doc. He said, you were the one that daydreamed about learning humans don't exist from a suspiciously intelligent 10-year-old. Maybe it's you, from being caught up in the tangle of all their lives. The doctor is smoking suddenly. This isn't real either. Does it feel that way? He says. In cool guy voice, I respond, not exactly. But he was right. There are markers. Time markers as abstract as headless, like the day you realize that poor radio reception and old records crack the same. Homer Simpson butt creases on couches, white-knuckled numbers on unnatural green road signs, rhythm sections, bicentennials, and mothers giving their children to the count of 3. Then there was time wasted as crumpled up paper list. How many bananas did you let go brown because you still buy them 7 at a time? Tired at 2 p.m. after lunch, sat on the couch wide awake for the 3 a.m. edition of SportsCenter, which is the same as the 10 o'clock edition and the 11 and the 12, but 1 to 3 there was pre-recorded golf. Number of days without an accident, number of birthdays before the intention, minute hands, shot clocks, click tracks, second hands, and those OG analog odometers. It's the warming up part that gets you. Warming up your car, warming up your muscles and the pads of your feet to find the strength to walk to the shower. It's part of life. Letting a garden rot in the ground and pray it comes back when the snow goes to regroup in the clouds. But if the rope on the docks don't creak back and forth, how can you really be sure of the passing? Time kept. We're the clock and the beekeepers until we don't. We can't. We zone out and the album is already over and we are 100 kilometers farther down the road than we remember being, and we don't remember getting there. So much time wasted hanging up keys. Now they just sit on the table. But I do know for certain that compared to pre-growth spurt me, the lilacs were tall. You remember them. The purple ones, the white ones, they were covered in bees, and so is the smell now, covered in bees. The water in front of the house you turned off that trembled like Jurassic Park. And thinking back, mostly, I'm thankful that some things I remember are undercut by the pathological liar that is memory. The things I think of when I gas up, and I'm thankful you can't hear me think anymore. That was always the difference between me and you. Never compromise semantics, even in the face of Armageddon. And I know we were inside. When I finally found the older versions of friends I still have now, we were sitting or standing probably, cooking maybe. Anyway, it all worked out probably. But whether it happened or not, does that make it hard for you to keep the pickle jars? I'd suggest combing your hair with the part. Take the ship with the wind to the north, but be sure not to disturb the freezing ice cubes. Tiptoe around the eggshell timers with the volume down so you don't wake him too early before the phone alarm crows 3 times. Keep handing the gas station map over because the lilacs are no easier than your own version of not being alone. The truth is, the past never meant anything to anyone but you. So remember me as I think I am now, not as I think I was, because sometimes I still believe in hope, and other times I wonder how many people brought home healthy food the day before they died. Thank you.
So, Cole, you were a part of Kelowna Poetry Slam.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, you did a really super awesome job.
I got first at getting second place.
You did. You
Yeah.
crushed that one.
Yeah.
So did I. And then we formed a runners-up club
Yeah.
that just the two of us exist in.
Yeah.
We're not bitter. We were very accepting of our loss.
We make cake. It's good time.
Cake.
I like it.
Yeah. Vegan
Yeah.
cake, though.
Yeah,
to be
just
exact.
only vegan. All right, so I just painted cardboard last time, but no one ate mine. So, yeah.
Okay, Cole. I don't think I've ever heard this story, so I'm excited to hear it. Tell me a bit about how you got started writing.
Well, I started writing a novel when I was like 8 or 9, and then I watched the show Reboot. Does anyone remember
Yeah.
Reboot?
Oh yeah, Reboot.
And then I realized that I just ripped off Reboot, and it broke little 9-year-old Cole's heart. So he stopped writing for a while. But poetry kind of came to me in a different way. I never took it seriously. I wrote horrible sonnets in high school and that sort of thing. And but when I went to university, I kind of, through various people realized that, people are sort of scared about poetry, I think sometimes, about what it means. And when I realized that doesn't really matter, it was I can do whatever I want and just use my charm.
You came and hung out with all the spoken word poets.
Yeah.
Because we don't follow any rules.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Cool. But you still do write a lot of fiction, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to finish up a novel before I have to start a novella for my master's project right now.
Okay.
So
you have 3 months to finish your novel?
yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good
there's
luck.
a clock on
There's a
it.
clock?
It's ticking away right now at my house.
It doesn't have a bomb on it, does it?
What?
School has started.
I'm calling in a bomb threat to my own house.
Yeah. Cole, you did this. You set this up. You're going to jail now, man. What were you thinking? Your roommates are probably should we be concerned right now? And the answer
What's
is
that
yes.
smell?
It's just vegan Oreos. It's okay. Okay, now for our really serious questions, which I'm pretty sure you've been studying because you're very studious.
Yeah, I'm completely unprepared for this. This is a new experience for me, Aaron. So thank you.
If you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be?
Pumpkin. for
Pumpkin?
Sure. Yeah.
Why is that?
Pumpkins are dope.
They are dope.
They hang on a patch.
Yeah. And they turn into magical carriages?
Yeah, but
That as well.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
So
And you're
Yeah.
big and round and orange?
yeah, and I have so many different faces.
Oh, you planned that one for sure.
No, the rest was planned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is, good.
That was organic.
Awesome. Good
So
job.
you can all eat it.
Yeah,
so.
look at that. Eat the pumpkin pie, you mean? Okay, what is your idea of the perfect way to pass time?
Well, I usually just try to help endangered elephants on the moon.
Yeah.
It's a great cause because there's not as much gravity up there,
Right.
so it's hard for.
That's what made you become a
elephant.
vegan?
Yeah,
Right.
that's the moon elephants.
Yeah.
So
They're in dire need.
So, yeah.
Give generously.
yeah. Give to the moon elephant cause. TwinTowns.com. So.
There. He's plugging his roommate's band now. Don't think I don't know what's going on here. Okay, if you were stranded on an island and had to choose to be stranded with either myself or Rawl, who would you choose?
How's your back rub?
My back rub.
Yeah.
What?
Raw has strong hands, you know.
He does have strong hands. He's a very big, burly man.
Yeah, do you want to go the rest of your life without a back rub?
A burly man back rub?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Me
and
neither.
neither do you.
Raw. Lock it in. Final answer.
Raw. Okay. That's it for our friendship. And my back rubs are amazing. I happen to be a very powerful woman, okay? Very powerful. You can ask my husband.
How's his back rub?
His back rubs are really good. Yeah, you could have them both, Cole. Sure.
All right.
You can have
The same-
Mackenzie as well. Her back rubs are great.
What about the cat?
The cat only has one eye, and he doesn't care about you. So.
He loves me. We bonded through the window.
Oh yeah, right. He was trying to escape. He was
Yeah.
using you. Okay. All right, and I think I know the answer to this one.
All right.
Dogs or cats?
Well, I would have said cats, actually, but I don't know if you noticed my face, my beautiful face.
Oh, from the cat?
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
he
Can
didn't
we,
like
can we zoom in
moving.
on, turn your face, and let's get a zoom in on the cat wound.
How's that? How's that good?
They don't,
good?
nobody's responding. They didn't
No,
get it. It's
they didn't.
okay.
He hit my beautiful face.
Just what were you doing to him, though?
He wanted to do some backflips.
Oh, okay.
He loves them.
He loves backflips off your face.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Rupert.
Rupert. Yeah, that's your first problem.
Rup, at home. You're watching.
Roop's watching like,
Yeah.
we'll practice when you return. Okay, and our last question of the evening, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek for sure. More specifically, Captain Janeway, Voyager.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think you're one of the only people who's ever said Star Trek.
It's really hard not to swear when thinking about
Yeah.
Star Wars right now.
Good,
So,
you're controlling yourself.
Yeah.
Star Wars makes you that angry?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I hate it.
Well, aw, little 9-year-old Cole's coming back. Yay.
He never left. I plateaued at 9.
Yeah,
I peaked.
that's it.
You
You just
know?
kept getting bigger, but it was just the same, right? Okay, you guys, Cole Mash doesn't have a website, but Cole Mash should probably get a website.
Check out that video though.
Yeah.
Those pigeons,
Yeah, there are real awesome videos of you at the Slam on our Inspired Word Cafe YouTube channel.
There's also tons of videos of me at twintownsbandcamp.com.
Right. Oh,
Twin Towns.
oh, Twin Towns. We'll have to talk after the show, you guys. You owe us a little bit of money. That's okay. Okay, you guys, that's a wrap for us tonight. You can find more of us at inspiredwordcafe.com or on YouTube at Inspired Word Cafe. Thanks for being a really awesome audience, and we'll see you all next time.